Give me a second. I think I see some people, but that screen is so far away. I'm hoping comments are going to come up over here on the fire where I can read it. Well, it's not going to do it. It should do it, but it's being a booger. All right, let me see what I have. Who I have? I have Lee Renee. Hi, Lee. Finadel UTSC. Oh, Michelle. Okay, hi, Michelle. So I do have a couple of people. It says 5, but I believe I'm counted in that number. So it's 4. Are you all getting any kickback from sound? Is the sound okay? Yeah, there's a fur baby back there fussing because she always thinks that when I'm talking, I should be talking to her because 98% of the time it's just me and her. Sound is perfect, thank you. And response time is a whole lot better on YouTube versus Facebook. I can ask you a question and I get a response within a few moments, it looks like. I think I'm going to have to divorce Facebook for lives because it just doesn't like me, but YouTube seems to be doing pretty good here. All right, well, we're going to get started. We're going to work on what's called a stacked waterfall. Now, I do not have ink in my printer, so I could not print off the exact instructions that you all are going by, but I have what I wrote up. I'll be honest, I didn't think YouTube was going to let me do this either, so I may not be as prepared. What am I trying to pull out? The wrong side. As I thought I didn't need to be, if that makes any sense. All right. These are my handwritten instructions that we're going to be doing, which it should be the same. And we're going to cut 4 12 by 12 pieces of paper into the various sizes. And we're going to score them at specific places. And you're going to see how much easier it is to do the stack waterfall and a whole lot faster. So the first one I have, you cut it at 6 1/4 by 9. And these should accommodate 4 by 6 photos with a 1/2 inch between each waterfall page. So this one is going to be 6 1/4 by 9. They're all going to be 6 1/4. So this one by 9. One thing I see is I'm on the opposite side on the screen. I'm usually on this side, so my photo is coming out a little bit different. All right, I'll remember that for next time. And I need this score on 9. No, yeah, score on 9 at 4 1/4 and 4 3/4. That's not, shouldn't be score on 9. I need to change that. Do I have that right? Oh, I know what it is. I didn't cut the 6 1/4. Duh. All right, I will get there. Give me a second. 6 1/4 by 9. And yes, it should be score on 9 at 4 1/4. And 4 3/4. Next one, 6 1/4 by 10. And score on 10 at 4 1/4. And 5 3/4. Let's see, who else might I have? I have Lorraine Barton has come in. Hi, Lorraine. How's everybody doing today? How's it going? Next one is 6 1/4 by 12. No, 6 1/4 by 11. One off. I haven't cut it yet, so I'm okay. Each one, as you see, goes up 1 inch, and that's because each one of these is 2 pages on the waterfall. And it'll be 4 1/4, and that first one's always going to be the same, 4 1/4. And 6 3/4. And you may start to see what's about to happen. It is so cool and so much easier. And again, this one's 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 by 12. And score it on 4 1/4. And 7 3/4. Let me move my comments up. New beginnings. I'm not even going to figure out what the beef jerky is. Yes, the cut in one board is awesome. I actually got it. It's the only reason why I signed up for Stampin' Up! Was to get this board where it cuts and scores in one. I'm going to use that again in a minute. Now, I prefer score tape just because it's faster. When you lay these down next to each other, can you start to see what's going to happen? They're going to go right in the middle. And when they fold, they're going to fold together. So we're going to put tape here, right here, in between the score marks on each one. So right here, all of this area, we're going to put tape on. And we're going to do it on all of them. Unlike Crystal, I've got 10 million pair sizes of tape just because it makes my life easier. Use what you've got. If you don't cover it completely, you're okay. Just be certain you get those outer edges. They're the most important part. And the bigger it is, the more weight you intend to put on it, the more adhesion you need in that area. I have been through more 3/8 inch tape these last few days. I think I should have bought stock in whoever this company is, Soup and Wag, that does score tape, Score Pal. Check in just a second to see if I have anybody else. Yeah, I hate when they do that. Find a magnet and put that on there. That won't make a difference because this whole area is going to be taped down. Don't cover the score lines. That's quite important. Be inside the 2 score lines. And of course, you can just use wet glue. It'll just take you a little longer because you'll have to hold it to be certain it isn't here. But wet glue is perfectly fine. You can use tape guns, but I personally can't drive that well between these 2 straight lines. And I'm not so certain as to the longevity, how many years your waterfall is going to stay together if you use just the tape guns. So I wouldn't risk it. Okay, I'm going to move my cutting board out of the way. Ah, there's that. Couldn't figure out where I put it. Could have used that one, but I'm just going to use this one. Lay down the biggest one. Be certain you burnished it well. On the flip side, not the side with the tape. This is what's going to go in your album. And I have magnetized my board just so that I can have another hand. Go with your next largest. The measurements are so that you end up with a 1/2 inch on each side bigger. This is 1 inch bigger than the area here. So if you line this up with the measurements on the side of your cutting board or a ruler, and that right there, I have it lined up at 4.5, then this will line up perfectly if I line this score line up at 5. Exactly 1/2 inch on each side. So now I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to be certain that the tape is adhered good. And I saw this done first by Michelle Allen. I will have to get the name of her channel. For some strange reason, I can never remember her channel. And she has some really cool projects, and she had this one, and I just like, that's so much easier. For me, even though I'm using tape, this is going to flip back and forth and back and forth. And it's a little bit of insurance. If I lay it down and I don't get it exactly right, if I put glue in here, I can get it back up. So like I said, I'm going to go. I put this score line at 4.5. I'm going to line the first score line up at 5. And the lip on my scoreboard is going to keep me in place. Get it down there. Burnish it. This time, go ahead and fold and burnish, because if any glue came out this edge, you want to go ahead and catch it now, because if it gets right there, you'll have a little bit of a tear mark. It'll still be usable, it'll just be a tear mark. So go ahead and fold back both sides. See, like right there, it happened just a tad. If I catch it right now, I can just run my finger in there and I'm okay. And I won't have anything, a tear mark there, because I caught that glue before it dried. So after that first page is down, you see this will be pages 1 and 2 and 7 and 8. So we're going to open it back up. Line score mark up with an even spot. Third largest or second smallest, however you want to say it. Burnish down. Peel off the tape. And if any glue sticks over the edge from the tape, just bend it back in there. Let it sticky itself to the other side and give more adhesion, sticking power. And again, that's at 5 this time. So I'm going to put it at 5.5. Use the lip of your board to guide you, to keep everything straight. Burnish it. Hold it. Fold it back. We have one more. One that's 1/2 inch. Now Now you can eyeball if you want to, but I'm going to go through all the trouble of measuring, then I might as well make certain it lands properly. That way when I go to put stuff in between here, I know I have them exactly 1/2 inch apart, and I can cut everything the same. So cutting later on is faster when you know everything is lined up. At least that's the story I'm sticking to. Burnish it in the center. We anal retentive accountants have to come up for excuses as to why we like our numbers. Things work out easier. Fold it. Same thing happened again, only I put a little bit too much glue right there. So I just run my fingernail under it. That's Waterfall. Let's see, it's 1:15. We started about 1:10, so I've explained it and completed it in 10 minutes. And that included the cutting. The guide that I gave you has for you to do 4x6s and 4x4s. And they are actually 6 1/4, so that it can fit a 4x6 and 4 1/4, so it can fit a 4x6 photo in it and give you a little bit of room. Let's see if I have any questions. So, does anybody have any questions on that? I mean, it's really so super easy. There's no lining, no mitering. Use the side of your cutting board or whatever and line it up. It is so fast. So incredibly fast. And then what I like to do a lot of times is from here to here is 7 3/4. So if I want this to be independent of my album, I will cut a sheet here that is 6 1/4 by 7 3/4 to give it a back, and 6 1/4 by 8 1/4, and fold that 1/2 inch underneath here, and we'll give it a front. And I'll put a magnet here and here, and it becomes a piece that I can pull out, work on, and then put back into the album. In fact, I did that here on the Amazonian. And so I created a little book, and the Waterfall pulls out. And it's a belly band, just a simple belly band that's holding it in. And this is the same exact, this was the first one I made, the 4x6, and I took the picture and laid it on there. And I used to get a picture a little bit bigger than, and then start at the bottom and cut 1/4 inch strips. But I make certain each one fits first. And then that way when you lay it back down, you have a whole picture. I didn't want a pocket there, so I put a magnet back here so that a note or something can be slid in there. Plus, this is for a man. I didn't think he wanted to see the flowers, so this way gave him a way to hide the flowers. And here's a booklet. And this was that area in the back. And you just slide it in here. Now, if you don't want 8 pages, start with the biggest page and remove it. You only want 6, and the very largest one is 12 inches. Don't hit. Only do the pages that are 8, 9, and 10, 9, 10, and 11 inches long. If you only want 4, take out pages 1 and 7 and 8. And so then you would only cut the ones that are 9 and 10, and then you have a waterfall with 4 pages. And I did do a second set of measurements where this gusset is 3/8 inch instead of a 1/2 inch. So, happy crafting. Thank you all for helping me test YouTube and help make a decision as to which one's going to be better for me. When I do lives, I am probably going to go with YouTube. Talk to you later, Chantel from Creations with Heart. Bye.